G Funky Boxing back, first show of the new year. Thank you all for joining us live. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. And I'm being joined by a very special guest today, my man Victor Slick Vick Guerrero.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining us, man.
No, I appreciate you having me on, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. So let's take care of some business here, all right, guys. And another thing I want to announce here to you guys. Now, I just started working with a regional promoter, Uppercut Promotions, here in Sacramento, and here is the flyer for my man right here, Victor, who is going to be fighting January 20th at the Doubletree by Hilton in Sacramento. Tickets are currently now on sale. General admission 60, ringside 100, and VIP is at 200. All right. So if you want to get real close to the action, okay.
Right there for the action.
Yep, that's it, man. And we're gonna see my guy here, Victor Guerrero, whose record currently is, let's see, 6-0 with 5 of those big wins coming by way of knockout. And look, I want to say this, man. Because you come from a fighting family, obviously. Your uncle is Robert the Ghost Guerrero. He just fought Andre Berto on the very last show, championship boxing Showtime, and he gets the win in impressive fashion. Man, I was impressed with what I seen from him.
Did
he
good.
Looked really good. But I want to ask you this: Robert started his career at, I believe, featherweight, which is 126 pounds, and you're a middleweight, right?
Middleweight, middleweight, 160, 154, right there in that area. So, yeah.
Now I gotta ask you this. Yes, I was just gonna say, Robert starts at featherweight, right? You're starting your career out in the middleweights. Not to mention, you are 6'3". At least that's what is listed here. On BoxRec. Now I know that could be either a little bit under, a little bit over from some of the fighters that I've actually met in person, and their height has been listed on BoxRec. But where the hell does this height come from, man?
Shoot, you're like, wait, what? Where does this guy come from? No, my mom's side, my mom's like, she's 5'9". My aunt's around 5'9". But they get it from my grandpa, from my mom's side. My grandpa was like 6'6", 6'5", so I get it from him, thankfully. So I'm the tallest on both on my dad's side. So they're like, man, hey, where this height come from? All this, all of that. I'm like, jeez, man. So I mean, it's an advantage. So I'll take anything. You know, I got that reach, the height. So
and
it plays in my favor.
I see the reach is not listed, so keep it that way. All right, let it be a surprise to your opponents.
No, you know, most definitely got to keep that. Got to keep that on the low. So
yes, sir, man. I want to give a shout out to War Week Boxing, who's in the chat. Thank you for joining us, man, and also my guy Bruce Gass, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Appreciate you guys showing up. Yeah, dude. So your grandfather, 6'6", huh?
Yeah. He's a big dude. He's a big guy. Wow. So
he's a Mexican, huh?
Yeah. From Texas. So.
Ooh, that's a big Mexican right there. Well, we don't normally come that big, man. But
no, for real. Seriously. I'm like, hey, I got blessed with one thing, and that was the height and stuff. So,
man. So for everyone out there that hasn't seen you fight yet, now I know you had 6 fights. You're just starting out your career. Describe to the fans your style of fighting.
I got a bunch of styles, to be honest. I can obviously bang it out, you know. I definitely like to use my reach, you know. I use my distance real good. I'm long, lengthy, quick feet, you know, controlling the distance, you know. That's what I've been working on a lot this camp. And just using my jab a lot too. I got that quick snapping jab, so, you know, the jab will take you around the world, like my uncle says, you know. So just been working on that this whole camp. So
that's true, man. They, you know, and I'm sure you've heard this a lot growing up in a boxing family. The jab is the most important punch in boxing.
100%.
Yep. And if you could establish that jab right away, you're right on track.
It's going to be a long night for that guy. It's going to be a long night.
Yes, sir. I love that, man. So let's talk about your beginning. All right. The beginning of this thing. Now, again, born into a fighting family, your uncle he was a world champion in multiple divisions, and he took on one of the biggest names in the sport that we've ever seen in Floyd Mayweather. So he's been on these massive stages. So was that what kind of motivated you to become a boxer, or was it just something that you just had a passion for?
I mean, yeah, no, it always motivated me, seeing him on that big stage, accomplishing what he accomplished, winning multiple world titles, and just being growing up in the gym. I was always in the gym as a little kid growing up, messing around, running around, and then like once I started taking it serious, then that's when I started, like actually seeing like, oh, I can actually, accomplish what my uncle can accomplish, and follow his footsteps, but kind of, create my own path in my legacy as well. So ever since then, I just been grinding, just been doing me. I've been out here in Vegas, just, going to different gyms, getting good sparring, and just getting ready for January 20th. So definitely
That's right.
excited. Yep.
I'm glad that you said that, man, because I've interviewed a few fighters who have been born into a fight family, and they've had a relative that had been a world champion or something. And
Yeah.
I like to hear when they say, yeah, of course, they're a motivation for me, but I also want to create my own thing. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really like that, man. I feel like if you try to follow too much in the footsteps of somebody else like that,
Yeah.
often we don't see that work out.
Yeah, it kind of has its differences, but I try to create my own path, especially for me and my uncle are two totally different fighters. He grew up in the lighter classes coming up. I'm more obviously in the heavier classes, so um both I'm taller, longer reach, so it's just I just want to just create my own path and kind of just do my own thing when it comes to going up the ranks and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So, your uncle, again, we talked about him a little bit earlier, but he just fought recently, and
Yeah.
and, and again, looked fantastic, man. That was the
Yeah,
old ghost
right,
that I
right.
remember from back in the day, man. And
Boxing
that
it
was
out and stuff,
that was
huh?
great. That was great to see because I wanted to see more of that when he was fighting at welterweight, a
Yeah,
few years
yeah.
back. But have you ever gotten in the ring and sparred with your uncle? You know?
Yeah, I have young when I was coming up, when I first started like turning pro, I got in the ring with him a couple times, and obviously he has a lot more experience than me, so he
Right.
the little things he knew what I was gonna do before I even did it. So I was just it's a learning curve, so. But it's been a while since we've gone in the ring together, so. But I've been in the ring. I've had the honor to be in the ring with a couple world champions, which is Caleb Plant.
Mhm.
I was in camp during the summer, training with Carlos Adames. He fights at
Okay.
160. He's the WBC champ right now over there. And I was training with 2022 Sports Illustrated Trainer of the Year with Bob Santos. So, you know, definitely got a lot of experience training with him. So,
Oh, that's great.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, most definitely. So,
And Bob did a lot of work with your uncle too, right? And your
yeah,
grandfather back in the
exactly.
day? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, it was just like a family thing. My uncle was like, go out there and train with them, get that experience with those guys. There was at that gym here, it's called Pound for Pound. There was like three, four champions training out of that gym. So, there's a lot of guys that, to work with, get a lot of experience learning from them, what they do, what not to do. So, I definitely learned a lot, and it's helped me a lot. And, I'm excited to showcase my skill and what I can do in the ring January 20th. So, yep.
Yeah, guys. January 20th again. I'll let me go ahead and post this flyer here. So you guys can see once again. Right here, guys, you're gonna see my guy, Victor, Slick Vick. All right. Be
Yep.
taking on a southpaw, right? We talked on the phone a little bit. You'll be
Yeah.
taking on a
Southpaw.
southpaw. Yeah.
Southpaw,
So
yeah.
first southpaw of the career. And that's good to get the experience in there because southpaws can be tricky. But
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely gonna be tricky. So, and my uncle's a southpaw too. So, what I'm saying, he kind of gives me little pointers and stuff, how to fight a southpaw. So he's been, helping me a lot with that too. So, I'm very grateful for that. So, yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
again, your uncle was a hell of a boxer, man. I feel he has a very underrated career, but we could talk about that another time. Again, this is about you,
yeah,
man. So again, guys, if you need tickets, they're on sale currently. come on out, check it out, guys. Reach out to me if you need any tickets, and if any of your people are watching, man, you got tickets available too, or no?
Me?
Yeah.
I just got the link, so I'm gonna be posting it on my Instagram, so people that are watching, you know, they can click the link and buy their tickets right there. So
there you go, man. So let the
yeah,
people know where your Instagram, how they can find you, man.
So my Instagram is V_Guerrero023. So yeah, I'll be posting. I'll be posting, keeping everybody updated. You know, with tickets and all that stuff. So, you know, if you guys want tickets, you know, just go ahead and follow me, and you know, I'll keep you guys updated and stuff. So,
yep. It's gonna be a good show, guys. Again, January 20th in Sacramento at the Doubletree. Now, we talked a little bit about sparring, and you said you sparred some really, really good guys. You know, some former world champions, some current champions. Sounds like you're ready to roll, man. So you got a lot of, and again, you come from a fighting family, so that helps also. But
born, it's in my blood, so I mean, you know what I'm saying. So it's just
man,
it's time to go and showcase.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
So as far as, like you said, your uncle was a southpaw, so you've been training with some southpaws for preparation for this one.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I've been training with like 2-3 southpaws, getting that good work in, and it's honestly been helping a lot. You know, obviously, and very grateful that, you know, especially being here in Vegas, you get a lot of work. There's gyms in every corner, so you know, if you want the best sparring, you know, you're gonna have to be here in Vegas. So Vegas, you know, Vegas, like they said, it's the new boxing capital of the world, or fighting capital, I should say, you know, for all types of combat sports. So, you know, getting that good work. So
yeah, dude, I hear it. There's a whole strip of just boxing gyms there in Vegas.
Yeah.
And a lot of fighters definitely all go out there and they train and they work with each other. And yeah, it's one of the best places. I know a few fighters here in my area that go out to Vegas often for sparring. So yeah, you're absolutely right, man. It's a hotbed for boxing, you know?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And there's a fight on this Saturday from Vegas. Virgil Ortiz is making his comeback, and he's in your area, man. He's coming up to a super welterweight. So
yep. So hey, that could be a future opponent. So, you know, definitely gonna be tuned into that fight. So
yeah, man. Yeah. So hey, that's great, man. You're eyeing, you're doing the right thing, man. Eyeing the guys that you need to go after. And I like that, man. I really do.
Yeah.
That's what you young fighters are supposed to do.
Exactly. Exactly. You always gotta keep your eyes peeled, you know, and you know, I could be my next opponent. I keep an eye on that guy. So, you know, I'm just gonna keep doing me, keep climbing the ranks, and eventually, you know, once those fights you know, start formalizing, I'm just gonna, you know, call those leads out pretty soon. So, you know, Slick Vick, you know, I'm coming. So I want it all. I want it all. So I want all the belts. So yeah,
I like it, man. Yeah, dude. And I know that your cousin Russ is who I reached out to get in contact with. He's a nice guy, man. Fantastic guy.
Yeah.
And I know he does a lot of has a gym here in Northern California. I know he does a lot of amateur shows. Did you compete in a lot of those amateur shows at his gym?
Believe it or not, I didn't really have a big amateur background, to be honest. Coming from, you know, my uncle, my grandpa, my dad, they had that pro style. So I learned, you know, not that amateur style where it's like win off points quick and, you know, get off as fast as you can. But like I had that more pro style. It was just calm, pick your shots off, you know. So it was, I just didn't really have that big of a amateur background. Like my last amateur fight was 2018. I got a knockout. So tried to get a couple fights after that, but it was just hard to get fights. People from the name, they knew I had that knockout power. So it was just hard to get me fights. So my uncle was like, dude, just turn pro, dude. You just, you know, we'll guide you in the right direction. You know, you'll get that good work and sparring, going to Vegas, coming back and forth. So I've just been on that pro level. So ever since, so I didn't really have like a big amateur background, you know, so, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So you got a lot of training from the Mad Dog, man, who's one of my favorite guys in boxing, one of my favorite personalities.
There
was a guy that used to imitate him, man. He used to come around here a lot, man. I don't know who he is, but you know, Ruben is great, man. So what was it like training? I'm sure you did some training with him, but he's not your official trainer. But what's it like working with him?
He's more of a attention to detail type of guy, you know, little tricks in the inside game, stuff like that. And like even when we're training, when you're supposed to be serious, he's never serious. It's always cracking jokes or messing around, you know what I'm saying? Or like we'll go to spar and like in between rounds when I'm going to the corner, he'll tell me a joke to cheer me up or something. I'm just like shit, you know, but very, very thankful and grateful to have him in my corner. You know, he's been in the game for a long time. He's trained world champions. Look at my uncle Robert. You know, so he's been at the peak of boxing. So he understands the ins and out of it and stuff. So you know, I'm thankful that he's in my corner as well as my dad and my grandpa or my uncle too. So you know, I'm just blessed to have a good team behind me, and you know, I'm ready to go. I want to showcase myself January 20th and put on the show for the fans out there.
Oh yeah, we're looking forward to it, man. Sacramento is a great fight city, man.
Yeah.
One more question about your grandfather, because he's such a great personality for boxing.
Yeah.
When your uncle fought Floyd, they did the whole all access thing on Showtime, and they were showing your grandfather doing these push-ups and you know all these things like that. He's doing these crazy workouts.
Yeah.
Now that fight, I believe, was about what 10 years ago, a little bit longer than that. But is he still doing those workouts to this day or what?
He's busting out push-ups. He's doing sprinting. He's doing everything, man. We're in camp. My uncle was here for camp for the Berto fight, and for his protein shake, he was putting all kinds of stuff in there. He's putting like chicken, like protein powder. He was throwing like kind of like crazy stuff in the shake. I'm like, damn, grandpa, you trying to bulk up? He's like, hey, mijo, I gotta get swole too. I gotta get in shape too. You know, he's taking vitamins. So, you know, I love his energy especially in camp. In the mornings, man, he wakes up at the crack of dawn, 4 or 5 in the morning, and his alarm clock to us to let us know it's time to wake up. He blasts music, and I'm talking about like corridos, like Mexican music, and he's making coffee. He's banging on doors. Let's go, get up. We got coffee ready. You know, we got to go running. I'm like, damn, man, the sun's not even up there. You know, let me get 5 more minutes. He's like, no. So, you know, I love being in camp with them. You know, it's shown me a lot, and you know, I enjoy it. So, yeah.
Oh, dude, the consummate professional, Ruben, man. That's great, man. Banging on the doors before the crack of dawn, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting you guys up ready to rock, man. I love it, man. And
Speaker,
all that
full
hard
blast,
work
everything.
and that hard work is gonna pay off, man. It is.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you've seen the benefits of it. You've had pro fights, so you know, man. Just stick with it. Everything's gonna be fine. So
yeah.
You say you're trained by your father, right?
Yeah. Victor Guerrero.
So your father, Victor, what's his background in boxing?
He started when he was 14. Yeah, he started when he was 14. I think he had about 85 amateur fights. So yeah, he was a real good one. He was a good one. And then I think he had like 4 pro fights, 5 pro fights. I'm not too sure. But yeah, my dad was good. He was he was like one of, you know, he had a heavy hand. He was knocking people out in amateurs and pros. So that's the one thing I tell him too. I'm like, you know, I didn't get your height or whatever, but I got his athleticism, I got his power, his speed. So, you know, I tell him, hey, thank you for all that. You know, so because my dad's like 5'9", 5'10", so average height. So
yeah,
and then he has me 6'3", and he's like, what the shit?
Yeah, this is crazy,
you know?
man. Yeah, man. I can't wait to see you fight, man, here live and in person. And it's gonna be great. So yeah, man, I always like to see because you know, and we see a lot of father son duos in boxing today, more than ever, at least from my time watching boxing. I'm 40 years old. I go back to about the late 80s watching boxing, and at least from my experience, it seems to be a lot of father trainers, son
Yeah.
fighters.
Mm.
And here's something I've always wanted to ask. Now, next time I get you on, man, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about this, and I'll ask your dad if he doesn't mind going on camera
Yeah.
when you guys are here in Sacramento. But
Mm.
I've always wanted to know this because, look, we understand that every time you sign a contract for a fight, every time you step in between those ropes in that ring,
Yeah.
in the squared circle, there's danger, right? Now, obviously, you
100%.
train
Yeah.
your ass off so that danger doesn't happen, but
Yeah.
we all know that there's always a chance, man. So, do you guys discuss something like, hey, because he is your father, you know, when to stop it? Because often fans, now again, this is from a fan's perspective,
Yeah. Yeah.
they criticize some father trainers for letting fights go on too long where they feel like, hey, man, your son's taking a beating. You need to stop it.
Mm.
Sometimes they don't stop it. Has that been a discussion between you guys when you decided to turn pro?
Uh, we haven't really had that specific conversation, but it's always in the back of his head. Like if worst comes to worst, if I see you taking a beating, I'm gonna do what's best for you and stop it. But we really haven't had that discussion yet. So, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna discuss it pretty soon. Especially now when we're going up the ranks and stuff. So
Hmm.
he's my daddy. Of course, he loves me. He doesn't want to see me getting beat up or anything, but he just so confident in me because we train our ass off. So, he just believes in me. I believe in myself. So, we just never really came across that conversation. So, you know,
Yeah, and that's a tough situation to be in, man. Because
yeah,
when I became a father 10 years ago, now I don't have any sons; I have daughters. So,
mm,
hopefully they don't want to put on gloves. But
that,
if they do, I don't know if I could be the trainer because I couldn't watch my kid take a beating and just let it continue. Like I would have a hard time. I'm just speaking from me,
yeah,
So
yeah,
I can't imagine if I did have a son and I was training him and there's a situation where, yeah, it looks like there's nothing he can do with this fighter style where he can turn the tide around. Maybe let's change. Let's throw in the towel. Let's stop it. Like it would be such a hard decision to separate,
yeah,
your son, the fighter, to your son.
yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
that's a tough decision, man.
yeah. It definitely is. It definitely is. So, yeah, it's definitely tough, especially when my dad's been through it, been through, he's fought obviously, so he understands what goes on in between those ropes. So,
Hmm.
you know, let alone his son being in that ring too. So it's like a part of him's in the ring. So
Exactly.
yeah. So he
Yeah,
wouldn't,
like I have a 1-year-old, man, and when she was learning to walk, let me tell you, I was like shadowing her. Like I didn't want her to fall. I didn't want her to get
right?
hurt.
Yeah.
Like so I can't even imagine seeing my son or my daughter in the ring and someone throwing punches at them and then them getting hit over and over. And
Right.
and again, we've seen situations where fights should have been stopped, but you know, the trainer who is the father of the fighter doesn't
Yeah.
want to stop it for whatever reason it may be.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a very tough spot, man. And I've always wanted to get a father son's duo perspective on that,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
No,
I just can't
100%.
imagine it, man. I can't. It would break my heart. I'll be honest with you. I'd probably start crying if I see
Yeah.
my son getting hurt.
Oh
So
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. But your father, God bless him. He's
Yeah.
so as far as Doug, we talked about your style a little bit earlier. So coming up, besides from your father, your uncle, your grandfather who all fought professionally, who were some of your favorite fighters coming up, and who have you kind of used as inspiration for your style?
Me growing up, I grew up watching like Manny Pacquiao, the Mayweathers, obviously my uncle,
Hmm.
Juan Manuel Marquez, uh, Shane Mosley, Canelo. But I try to mold myself into or watch film on Canelo, which is more like the inside game. And then I like to watch a lot of Caleb Plant, to be honest. how he moves around the ring, how he uses his height, his reach. I like to watch a lot of the Charlo brothers too, you know, and yeah, I just pick off little things from them, you know, that I can mold into my game and make me a better fighter. And when it comes to when training, I use some of those things, especially in sparring, working on things and stuff like that. And you know, I do a lot of film study too. So it's really good that you know my that I watch a lot of film because I gotta you know have my own style too. You know, eventually and mold myself into the fighter that I want to become. You know, because I just want to be just one dimensional fighter. You
Yeah.
know, um, I want to come. I want to be the fighter that can come forward, or I can fight off the back foot. I can bang it out if I want to. You know, if worst comes to worst. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Being
yeah,
versatile is good, man.
exactly.
And it'll help you adapt into certain situations. Like you said,
Yeah,
if I need to box this guy, I'm going to box him. If I need to come forward and try to, apply pressure and get him out of there, that's what I got to do.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's great, man. Man, I keep forgetting that you guys are so young, because like I said, I'm an old man, so I watched a lot of fights in my time, man. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's surprised some of these young fighters I know here in the city. One of them was like, "Yeah, man, my favorite fighter was Salvador Sanchez," and I'm like, "Whoa," like
Whoa,
that's even before
throwback,
my time, So,
right? Yeah, seriously.
but he was
Yeah,
a fantastic fighter, though. It seems like you know who he is, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a
So
great style, man. Great
yeah,
boxer.
great style, great boxer. Yeah, most definitely. So
Unfortunately,
yeah,
yeah, had a car crash and then passed away. His career was cut
yeah.
short, but he's still one of the greatest Mexican fighters, at least in my opinion, the best.
Oh, most
Because
definitely. Yeah, he's
yeah,
up
he
there. Oh, he's
accomplished.
definitely up there.
Yeah, and what he
Yeah,
accomplished with his short career and in his young life, it was crazy, man.
yeah,
We can only imagine though what he could have been.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
So let's talk a little bit about some current stuff here, man, in the pro world before we let you go. Um, so I know you mentioned Charlo, and he really had a poor performance against Canelo. That was disappointing,
yeah.
man.
That was a
Um,
little. I was shocked. I was shocked because you know, he's an aggressive fighter, especially when he's fighting at 54. He comes forward and he likes to bang it out. You know.
yeah.
And you know, seeing what he did with Canelo, I think he showed a little too much respect for Canelo, you know,
Hmm.
and kind of just survived. He was just more in survival mode. I feel like, you know, so you know, I thought he was gonna come out, you know, throwing some haymakers, but you know, it's just it is what it is, you know. So
Yeah, I thought he was gonna give it a good go too.
you
Like
know,
I had at least 20 people here to come watch it, and yeah, and that's the thing that disappoints me because boxing gets a bad rap from casuals. So
yeah, yeah,
when I do invite people over that aren't the type of boxing guy that I am, I don't want them leaving disappointed. And yeah, that night everybody was just like, "What the hell was
yeah,
this?" And I was like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's
The undercard
boxing,
was good though. The undercard was good. The
Yeah,
undercard was definitely entertaining, but I thought the main event was gonna be, you know,
I thought it was
a
going to
good
be a
fight.
good
But
fight. Yeah, me too. But now we talked about Jermell. Let's talk about Jamal. He made his comeback. He was out for over 2 years.
yeah,
I've talked with Ronnie Shields, who was his trainer. Shout out to Ronnie Shields, one of the best trainers out there, and a
mm,
really nice guy, man.
yeah,
Um, but we talked about Charlo coming back, and I talked with him. He said, Charlo's been training and he's ready to go.
yeah.
He came back and he fought Jose Benavidez
Jose
Jr.
Benavidez. Yep, yep.
What was your thoughts on that fight, man?
For coming off 2 years, he looked pretty good. You know, there was times where he looked a little sluggish. You know, and it's obviously gonna happen when you're off for 2 years. You know, you're gonna have some ring rust, but you know, I think he definitely won the fight convincingly. And you know, I heard some talks that I think he might get a shot at Canelo. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
him or David Benavidez. So you
Yeah.
know, we'll see what happens this year. You know, so
Or I've heard Jaime Munguia is a name in the hat as well.
yeah,
With Canelo, you just never know, man. You really
you
don't.
just never
It's
know.
when things
Yeah,
come out from him, it's always usually last minute. Like I think I heard from a few people on the inside that Canelo was going to sign with PBC I think it was maybe like a couple days before Canelo himself actually announced it on his social media.
Mm,
So yeah, everything is just like boom, right away with him, you know?
right. Yeah,
And
he's all business with that guy. So
so I'll
you
ask
know.
you this, because there's again here on YouTube, there's a lot of fans and they all talk about who should Canelo fight next. Now, for me, and I've been saying this for a while, ever since Canelo became undisputed at 168, that a fight with David Benavidez would be not only a really entertaining fight, but it would
Mm,
be a big fight monetarily. A lot of people would
yeah.
pay to see
Mega
that.
that's a mega fight right there. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
So who do you think out of those three, Munguia, Charlo, or Benavidez? Give me the order you would like to see Canelo fight. Any those three guys?
I'd say Charlo first and then Benavidez.
Okay.
Charlo first and then Benavidez. Benavidez, I think I Cinco de Mayo weekend, I think Charlo and Canelo would be good. And then September, Benavidez and Canelo for just the end off the year right there.
Big
That's the
fight,
idea.
man.
Yeah, no, for real. So
It's a big fight, and
it's all up to Canelo though. You know, he's the A side, so you know
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
yeah. So
I know fans
whatever.
get frustrated with that, but that's the way business goes. Now,
Yeah.
Benavidez had just fought Demetrius Andrade back
Ooh.
in November and beat him pretty easily in convincing fashion.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, what did you think of his performance that night, man?
Phenomenal. I give it an A. I'll give it an A. 100%. Yeah, an A. You know, he stuck to his game plan. I feel like he dictated the pace. You know, he was coming forward a lot, and
Mhm.
eventually, you know, just took him out. So, you know, Benavidez got that the Mexican monster in him. So he proved it again. You know, he proved it again. So
Yeah,
you know, yeah,
and
it was a good performance.
yeah, and then early in the year, he beat Caleb Plant
Yeah,
in a fight that was pretty brutal for Caleb.
yeah,
I actually thought Bredman Edwards was going to stop that fight after the 10th round,
yeah,
but he didn't. So yeah, Benavidez had a really good year last year. But as for Plant, man, there has not been really a whole lot of rumblings or rumors about what he's gonna
yeah.
do. Now, I know you said that you sparred with him, and he's a guy that you kind of like his style of fighting.
Mm.
Who would you like to see him fight next?
Ooh, him. Well, I seen him. He called out Charlo, Jamal
Big
Charlo.
Charlo,
The
he
one,
did, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, that would be a good one. But I would definitely like to see that fight. Um, you know, that'd be definitely a good fight because they got some history
Yeah.
they got some history, you know, back and forth. So honestly I definitely like to see that fight, you know. So
Bad blood always sells, man.
yeah, exactly. You know, so
And
I'd
we
like to
seen
see that
they
fight.
yeah, we seen they had an altercation. I believe it was at the weigh-in or the
Yeah.
final press conference for Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, and yeah, when there's I mean there's cameras everywhere, people caught it, and it just started
Yeah.
circulating like crazy. So yeah, there's something there that they can build off of
Yeah, definitely got
to
some
make a big
history.
fight.
So it'll definitely sell out. It will 100% sell out. So,
Yep. Now I
you
know
know,
you said that you like the Charlos and then you like Caleb Plant, so I have to put you on the spot now, man.
yeah.
If that fight happens, who wins and why?
I think Plant outboxes him. I think Plant
Ooh, okay.
outboxes him. Yeah, uses the ring a lot. I think he outboxes him, to be honest. Especially coming off the performance that Charlo came off of. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't his best performance, obviously, you know. So I think I give the edge to Plant 100%, you know. So yeah, Plant unanimous decision. You know, I think it goes to full 12 though. So
It's a
yeah.
good fight. I would love to see that fight.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of fans out there that, they have this thing against Charlo because he sat out for so long, but
Mm.
it is what it is, man. I mean, I'm the type of fight fan. Look, I'll watch them all. I want to see the fight, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I want to see all the best fights. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and
So,
that's a good matchup in at super middleweight if we can get that fight happening.
mm,
Yeah, I would like it, man. So A few more questions here, man, and I'll let you go. Again, I don't like to keep the fighters who are in training camp too long. But I want to ask you this, man. Now, we talked a little bit about Virgil, who's fighting this weekend. I know you said that might be someone that you got your eyes on in the future.
Yeah. Mm.
Who else in and around those divisions, whether it's super welterweight or middleweight, or I would imagine you're starting your career out in the middleweights in those divisions. You probably end up going to super middleweight. What are some fights you some fighters that you're eyeing currently, man, besides Virgil Ortiz?
Shoot, I'm looking at all the guys. I know Spence moved up. That'd be a good fight. Danny Garcia's up there. Just I'm keeping my eye on all the fighters, to be honest. Especially all the 60s too. Because I'd be fighting at both weights. So, I'm just gonna just keep my eye on all of them. Honestly, I can see myself fighting pretty soon in the next coming up years. I think Virgil would be a good one, to be honest. It's his first fight too at 54, right?
Yeah.
His first fight, yeah. So, I take them all. So it don't matter. I'm a Guerrero, so we're warriors. We're warriors.
Yeah, I like that, man. I like that. And there's a lot of young talent around these divisions. There's Xander Zayas, who fights under Top Rank, who's a super welterweight, and looks like he's found a home. He started his career at welterweight, but decided to move up, and he's been there for his last, I want to say, like 5-6 fights or something like that. So looks like he's going to be there for a while.
I can see Fernando Vargas Jr. He fights at 54. I can definitely see myself getting in the ring with him. I'll be a big fight.
Definitely,
they're out here too in Vegas too. So one of these days we could run into each other. So hey, stir the pot a little bit. So
that's right,
I'll
man.
definitely call him out.
And I know at this juncture of your career, like I said, this is going to be your 7th fight coming up here on the 20th. You can adjust your weight. You can, if you get an opponent you want to fight, you can fight him at 160, you can fight 140, it can work out that way a lot easier before you get signed to a promoter and stuff like that. Then usually they kind of like to keep you locked in a division. But do you guys have your eye on a certain promoter that you would like to fight for, or does it matter? Any of the big ones are good?
Any of the big ones, to be honest. I just want to just get my name out there and start fighting, on these big cards, so whoever comes first, we can start negotiating or get into talks and go from there.
Yeah. And originally you're from Morgan Hill, California?
Born in Morgan Hill, but I raised in Guerrero, California.
Yeah,
garlic capital of the world, baby.
Hey, I love Gilroy, man. The Garlic Festival, I go all the time, man. It's great.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to having you come up here to Sacramento, fight on our card here, man. I want to see that Guerrero spirit, that you said.
Right.
Yeah, and again, your uncle showed it in the ring in a lot of his fights. And I love Robert, man. He was always one of my favorite fighters for a long time, man. And I followed his career, and a great guy outside of the ring as well, man. So it's going to be a fun night, man. Make sure you guys get your tickets. All right. Let's
tune in, people. Yeah,
that's right. We're going to show the flyer. There's my guy right there in the corner. Saturday night super fights, January 20th from the Doubletree here in Sacramento. All right, guys. Tickets, general admission, $60, ringside $100, and if you want to be the VIP of the night, $200. All right. And I'm sure you'll be able to shake hands and take pictures with my man Vick if you do become a VIP. And again, guys, if you need tickets and you're in the area, you can reach out to me via my email. Actually, let me roll that right now in case nobody has it. Boom, there it is right there. And you can also get at my man here, Vick, on his Instagram. Give him the Instagram one more time, bro.
It's gonna be V_Guerrero 023. So I'll definitely be posting keeping everybody updated, posting about tickets and all that. And if you guys want to see some good fights, January 20th, whole card is gonna be filled with good fights. And we're gonna make some noise out there in Sacramento, baby.
That's right, man. I was just gonna ask you, give the fans something to look forward to, man. What are we gonna see January 20th from Slick Vick?
I honestly, I'm coming out for, I want a knockout. You know, I've been training my tail off. I've been out here in Vegas getting good work. So, you know, I want to showcase my skill too a little bit. You know, so you know, definitely gonna be a good performance though. You know, I'm definitely happy to be fighting right there in Sacramento. So, like I said, y'all tune in, you know, get y'all tickets. So it's gonna be a good show. Gonna be a good night. Yeah.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I love boxing,
Let's
man.
go.
And you, Kevin Montano, who's going to be on the card as well. Stevie Johnson, who's from the Bay Area. There's going to be a lot of good fighters on this card, man. And I can't wait, man. It's going to be a great show. And
Yeah.
Vick, man, it was fantastic talking with you, man. Any last words you want to say to the fans before we wrap it up, man?
Appreciate all you guys. You know, a lot of fans, people that I already know, showing a lot of support. Grateful for everybody. And like I said, January 20th, you guys are gonna find out who Victor Slick Vick Guerrero is finally. So, you know, tune in. For sure.
Puro Gilas, right? Puro Gilas.
Puro Gilas, right? There we go.
I love it, man. I love it. So, Vick, thanks for your time, brother. And I can't wait to meet you here when you get down to Sacramento, you and your family.
Most definitely.
And everybody, man. It's going to be fantastic, man. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it, man.
Train hard, and we look forward to your fight, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's give him a hand on the way out. Slick Vick Guerrero. Have a good one, brother. We'll see you at the fights. And guys, thank you all for joining. Again, first interview of the year, first show of the year, actually. I've been so busy with helping out with the promotion for this fight. And I actually have a business meeting coming up here in about an hour. All right. Hopefully some things get done. And I'll drop the news very shortly if something comes out of this. But thank you all for joining. And don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to follow my guy Vick on Instagram. All right. And again, if you need tickets, let me know. And all the fighters on the cards, they usually have access to tickets too. So just go ahead and ask them, guys. It's going to be a fun night here in Sacramento, January 20th at the Doubletree Hotel. We'll see you there. For my guest, Vick Guerrero, this is G Funky Boxing. I'm out. See you guys on the next one.